Hey guys, so before I start, if you have not seen my video, The Right Stance on Mental Illness, please go check that out right here because I talk about the purpose for this series and what my vision for it is and just a whole bunch of stuff. So if you haven't seen that yet, please go check that out and then come right back to this episode. Thank you. Welcome to the first episode of Living with OCD. Today I am going to talk about how I discovered that I have OCD. Where do I start? So where I grew up in Maryland, we had magnet high schools, which if you don't know what that is, I don't know if that's a thing all around the country. There was a school that I wanted to go to. It's just a regular high school, but a special program called the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program. Basically, it's just rigorous collection of courses that you take over the 4 years in high school, and it's supposed to give you a special diploma that colleges look at and drool over and accept you. I got accepted into that program in 9th grade or freshman year of high school. I was taking super difficult courses for a 9th grader. I was taking like senior classes in 9th grade. I think I was in denial that I was falling way behind. And mind you, the whole entire year I was going to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning and waking up at 5 in the morning. So it was taking up all of my time. I didn't hang out with my friends really. I was not being a normal teenager because the school was taking so much of my time. I would even ask my parents, who were very supportive of the whole thing, to let me stay home so that I could get my work done. I was just as smart as the other kids. I thought, why am I struggling so much? And I started missing school on a regular basis. I would lie to my teachers, and if any of them are watching, that's really embarrassing. But it's something that I feel I should tell you guys because I am trying to be honest with you and I am trying to tell you the full story. I still ended that year with pretty much straight A's. That summer, I needed to start summer gym because that was a course that I felt would take away from the half of the next school year that I could be doing something else. I could be taking more important courses. It was great, but I would come home and I would sit on my parents' computer and play this game that I felt only old people played. If you play it, it's totally fine. It is kind of an addicting game, but it's mahjong. I didn't want to play it. I needed something to do, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do anything else. I got to a point where I sat there and I wanted to cry, and I couldn't understand why I wanted to do that. I just felt the best way that I can describe it, and this is a very scary thing that I hope nobody ever has to experience, but I know that thousands of people all the time, every single day, experience feelings like this, and that's really horrible. It felt kind of like I was sitting there and I could feel in my heart kind of this poison, this black fog spreading throughout my body and my mind, and it was just really, it felt like I had 1,000,000 pounds on my shoulders and I just wanted to lay down on the floor and cry. And I thought, maybe it's just because I didn't end that year of school good, and 10th grade was going to be a new year and I would start new things. I started the new year, I was all excited about it. I had new courses and it was fun, but I was still falling behind. I started to do really strange things. When I went to get ready for bed, I would walk into my room and I would look at the door and make sure the door was propped open with, I had a candle sitting there, and I would make sure that that candle was there so that the door wouldn't close if the window was open and the wind blew it closed and woke me up in the middle of the night. Then I would look at my night light and make sure it was turned down so that it would not shine in my eyes while I slept. I would look at my dresser and make sure my contact solution bottles were standing in a perfect row. Already it's starting to sound real weird. Then I would look at my window and make sure that my window was open exactly halfway and that my curtains were completely closed on each side. You know, I couldn't just close the curtains and go about my business. I had to make sure that the curtains were pulled all the way to the end of the rod on either side. And then I would look at my bed and I would take out my pajamas for that night and I would lay them in a certain way on the foot of my bed, and then I would walk over to my dresser and make sure that my alarm was set. And throughout all of this, it was like a checklist. I had to go and literally in my brain check off the things that I did. I mean, this whole process, even though it sounds pretty simple, took me about 15 minutes. Then I would walk into my bathroom and make sure that my laundry basket was exactly against the wall. So like, this stuff was really, really out of hand. It was crazy and stupid and should not have been happening, but I could not go about my business just like a normal person. And I thought that this was all normal, even though I was embarrassed about it, which is funny because if you're embarrassed about something that is normal, it's not normal. It's probably an issue because normal things you shouldn't be embarrassed about. I would not be able to take a shower in the morning because that ruined my entire process. I had a certain checklist in the morning and I would actually write it down, like that I had eaten breakfast and that I had done certain things, and I had little pieces of paper laying around everywhere with checklists. This is probably one of the more embarrassing things. I would have checklists that I never finished checking off, and I would keep them. It would be like a Monday and this checklist was from last Tuesday. And I would go back and think about what happened that Tuesday and check off the things as far as I could remember that I had done them. That's not normal. If you find yourself doing that, no, it's not. Especially things where you're like, okay, I woke up, I turned my alarm off, I ate breakfast. Like, all that stuff doesn't matter already because that was a week ago. And if you are experiencing that, you need to get help because that's OCD. And I'm not trying to make fun of you. I laugh at it because I was in that situation and it's so embarrassing, and I'm laughing to cover the pain and embarrassment that came from that. But anyway, I started getting help from a psychologist. So if you are someone who is looking for a psychologist, you probably have to hunt around for one for a while until you find the one that you like. She told me that I need to go see a psychiatrist because this was not something that was just an issue that needed to be worked on. It was a chemical imbalance in my brain and I needed to get medicine for it. I started taking the medicine. I was very scared about the whole thing. I thought that medicine was for crazy people, and I was like, I'm not a crazy person. I looked at it as a totally negative concept. The medicine started working pretty much the next day. I already felt better. I already felt less stressed. However, I was still missing school and it just didn't feel right to me what was happening with school and everything. The rest of that year, I barely did any schoolwork. I'm really embarrassed about that because I ended the year barely passing all of my classes. I failed one class, which was to me, and I was very disappointed in myself and just disgusted with myself because I was not the student that I normally was and that everybody knew me as. I went into 11th grade. It was the end of September. I had actually gotten sick. I missed a week of school and I just didn't come back. It's something that's very hard for me to talk about because I took so much pride in being in that advanced program and being a smart student. I had an appointment with my psychiatrist. She had told me this before and I said, oh my god, that's crazy, it's stupid, I'm not gonna do that because I'm a good student. She had told me before that I should just withdraw from school and get my diploma via the GED program. But she said, you know, you've taken high courses, you've taken basically college courses, you already have some college credits. I wanted a normal high school experience. I wanted to go to school for all 4 years. I wanted to go to prom, I wanted to go to homecoming, I wanted to do all the things that a normal teenager does in high school, and it was so not going that way. It was an hour-long drive home from the appointment. I had been depressed for so long that it was very strange to me on the drive back that I sat there with a giant smile on my face because I agreed with what she said. I was finally able to admit, you know, I need to go out of my comfort zone. I need to say I dropped out of school and I need to get my GED and I need to get my life together. At that moment, I felt so proud of myself because I had finally put an end to this insanity that was going on. So I can proudly say that I got my high school diploma in April of 2015, and it's something that I'm really proud of. It's it sounds stupid because it's just a high school diploma, but for me it was a huge thing because it meant that I had the same education and everything that a normal person has. And that's huge to me because I had wanted to be normal for so long that when I finally got the diploma, I felt so accomplished and normal. Alright, so that's it for this episode of Living with OCD. I wanted to give you the background of my story and my experience with it and just lay down the basics of what happened in my life going through this. If you like this episode, please like this video and share it with somebody who you think it would help. I really want this to help people, so please, please, please share. Leave in the comments below if you have ever experienced anything like this. You can follow me on social media. I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. All the information is in the description below. Use the hashtag AskZhenya on Twitter to ask me questions. If you haven't seen my last video, I talked about the Fine Brothers controversy. That video definitely got some hate. That's okay though, it starts healthy discussions. And just so you guys know, I did mean leave in the comments below what you think about the Fine Brothers situation and not what you think about what I think. So it is just my opinion, just to clear the air. You don't have to have the same opinion as me. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. It's just a video on my opinion. So for those of you who maybe left some nasty comments on that, you realize that this is just my opinion. And please subscribe. I make videos every Monday and Thursday for the next 6 weeks. There will be an episode of Living with OCD every Monday, and on Thursday I kind of just do whatever. If you have any suggestions, tweet me or leave in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you on Thursday with a really fun video that I'm already filming and I'm really excited about. Bye!